present the slide.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, if you can do that on present. Yeah. So this is the first of the four sessions that we will be presenting as part of this series on the Agentic AI from UiPath, and we have some details about the uh, next few sessions as well. But this is the first of the four sessions that we are going to present today. Guys, next slide. From an agenda perspective, obviously, we'll talk about agents. So this is for the first session. What are the guardrails that you need to be aware of when building your agent? Obviously, there'll be discussion around context grounding, testing, and then Faiz will go into a live demo of how to build your first agent on the UiPath platform, and then we'll have some time for Q&A in the end. But in the meantime, while the session is going on, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat box, and then we'll review them at the end of the session. Next slide. This is the team Diana and I already introduced, and then once I finish, I'll have Amit and Faiz introduce themselves as well. But this is the team who will be doing these series, and feel free to um, provide us ideas of any series or topics that you want us to host. From a next series perspective, we'll be happy to discuss that and host those sessions for you. These are the sessions of this series. We are doing one now. This is the session one, and then we have three more. And the timing of those next three series are 1 p.m. Eastern time. We had to change it for some technical reasons, but going forward, the next three series will be at 1 p.m. Eastern time on these following dates. So you can scan the QR code to register for those series, or go to the UiPath Northern California chapter homepage to register for those upcoming series as well. Yes. Cool. So I'll hand it over to Amit and Faiz to take this discussion and presentation forward. Thank you so much. Amit?
Thank you, Pankaj. Thanks, Diana. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Amit Tiwari. I am also UiPath MVP and probably kind of very excited about the way the evolution of automation and kind of agentic overall going. But what I'm here to talk about is, and my apologies, I'm still stuck on the road, so that's why I'm not able to turn on my camera. But I'll talk about the journey of automation and where the evolution happened, right? I mean, if you all are familiar, and probably this slide will kind of dictate most of the kind of concept, but if you are familiar with the regular automation, the rule-based automation, whereas a decade ago, I think we started doing kind of I mean, we have been always doing automations, for example, like your SharePoint workflows, or you're building some of the automation in the Excel sheet, or probably you are creating some APIs to do those automations. And decade ago, I think platforms like UiPath and robotic process automation concept evolved, and that is where like the appropriate way of doing the process automation started, whereas we were able to automate anything, or probably build a script for anything which can automatically process the record, or probably process some of the information, or scrape the data from website, or read the email, those kind of things, right? So that was the first phase one of the automation. We learned, I mean, as a whole industry, or probably I would say as an enterprises, and even like platforms like UiPath and others, they learn throughout the process, and gradually we kind of created a supervised learning based automation, whereas there is a machine learning model which has been added, which works with the automation. But here you more tend to kind of scan some of the documents, and then probably you define those machine learning models, you train the model, and the model is able to automatically identify those documents. For example, if you have an invoice and you do a training, so model, whenever that invoice kind of document comes, model will know that, okay, this is an invoice type, right? And when you have a purchase order, it will know it is a purchase order. Or for example, you have a user document, for example, your license or your passport or any other document, the model would know. But we will create a separate model for each such documents to understand. So that was the second stage of the growth of the automation journey. The third stage happened, and probably most of us are familiar with the generative AI, whereas we know that how the chat GPT kind of the word evolve and give ability to everyone to type their questions, and probably there is LLM model back in the background which is running and probably understand your question in plain English and able to kind of prepare a response for you and get back with you, right? But that is more generalized towards the content available in the world or probably around the globe, open source, right? So that is the learning which happened, and that is where like generative AI become really really popular, and automation took a step forward, whereas just from the supervised learning based models, they transition to the generative AI based model, whereas there are some generic document which do not require any sort of training or such thing, and they are still able to process, and once you kind of digitize or OCR those documents, the generative AI model is able to understand all the context into the document, able to read them, maybe segregate them into different table or probably different statement or probably different taxonomy, I would say, right? So that happens, and that's where the learning kind of improve, whereas we are able to now process more documents and probably with the automation. And the final step which we are in is like it is very very exciting is agentic AI and agentic automation, whereas it is the ability to not only do the generalized document but also able to intelligently take a decision. So if we as a human, I mean, which is was mostly done by the human. So if I am as a human able to take a decision, and for that decision making, I must be referring some sort of document, some sort of policy document, some sort of information from within my organization. And based on those organization and what is the input provided to me, I make those decisions that, okay, this is where it should be, right? And that is where the agentic AI is coming into the picture, whereas we are able to use those large language model or probably create small language model, and those language models can refer to some of the specific task where an agent can be created, and agent can process those specific tasks by referring to a specific document, right? For example, if I have to say is if, I am a company, whereas I get the sales quote, and for the sales quotation, there is a policy document that, okay, the quotation for combination of the quotation for the material should be defined in certain way. Plus, with my customers, if I have a contract that, okay, if I somebody give me an order of like 100,000 of items, then probably I should allow them to kind of get some level of discount, right? So all those documents which I refer to make that decision, okay, if the quotation is looking good or not, or should I add more discount? And that is where the agent, which is more of a model, which I think Faz will go over in more details. So that agent is working on your behalf to make that decision, and the agent is looking at same policy document, agent looking at same discount document, discount policy and all, and contract document for the customers. And then based on that, it is making a decision, okay, if the quote has more than 100,000 of items requested, then maybe apply this level of discount, right? Or the packaging of the quotation has happened correctly in the sales order or not, right? So that is where the agent is becoming popular. And with this change, I mean, most of you must be hearing about like this is a buzzword and everything else going around, but this is real. This is going to drastically change the way human and robot and agent are going to work in the future industry to define or run these processes. At the same time, this change is not only, I would say, technical, but it is more of a philosophical change, whereas you have to make your business understand that, okay, why it is important and how it is helpful, right? And and how this will slowly build the trust and probably help them do the right decision making on time, right? So I'll just pause over there to and go to the next slide. But this is primarily the overall journey of the automation, where as automation from rule-based to supervised learning to generative AI, and now the agent-based automations, agentic automation, you can call it, has changed, right? If I talk about UiPath as a platform, I think same thing happened here as well, whereas UiPath kind of was in that journey 10 years ago. That's where it started. And we all kind of learned through that process. But last year, UiPath, I mean, on the left-hand side, if you see, it's all robot, which is your manual task and rule-based task, which is being processed correctly and probably has been proven really, really well. And now with the agent, which is on the right-hand side, it kind of enhances the capability and probably add more value on top of the automation, whatever has been built, and it will allow us to make some decision making, right? So you can call it like the brain, the robot, and the brain, right? I mean, there are two things which is now combined, and UiPath platform very well offer that capability, and we're very excited to talk about more details later today and probably in coming sessions. Next session, next slide, Faz. And this will be my last slide, probably. I think the idea here is, and if you look at this is a very standard invoice processing, whereas if you see, there are like to start with the robot, where robot is able to scan those invoices, able to process some of the information. But if there is a dispute, for example, whatever the invoice has been submitted versus what do you have in your purchase order or probably the sales order. For example, if somebody sent you invoice for 5 items, but eventually in your sales order it was only 4 items, or like there's a price difference between your invoice and the sales order, then there's a dispute. And for those dispute resolution, what have used to happen was somebody as a human will look into that conflict situation, and they will look at the dispute and probably mark it as a dispute and reach out to the customer or vendor saying, okay, this is the wrong invoice, you need to correct this, and resubmit those invoice for us, right? So that's where like the standard process was. And similarly, like more other things, whereas once they complete it, the robot can process and automatically post the invoice, for example, right? But if you go to the next slide, where the future is going to be, uh, if you can see that instead of the human, now there is our agents in between those two layers, whereas these agents are now able to make that decision, whereas they look at your invoice, they look at your purchase order document, they look at your contract and everything else on the sales order side, and then they make a decision. Okay, if there's a dispute, how do you resolve this dispute? If there's a dispute, they will reach out to the customer or vendor saying, okay, can you fix this invoice and probably process it, right? So the future word of the process automation and probably process orchestration overall will be a combination of the robot and then the agents and the humans combined together, and they all will be working hand in hand together in the future process orchestration for any of the enterprises. And this is a slow adoption, but I think we'll see more quick changes coming in the industry probably next year and probably year onwards. So we are very excited about it, but I'll just pause it here and probably pass it over to Faz to deep dive a little bit more on the technical stuff of how to build agent, what does agent mean and all, right?
Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks,
everyone.
Amit. So yeah, hi everyone. My name is Faz, and also the UiPath MVP and UiPath apps category. So you have seen the couple of slides there. We have discussed how we are evolving from process automations to agentic automations, and you have heard everywhere, and we are surrounded with the agentic automation, agent everywhere. If we are connected with the any of the if we are connected with the IT industry, so we are very well aware about the agents everywhere, right? So in this the first session of this series, and we are trying to cover very basic things like, and the title of this series, we are going to cover the enterprise agent. So in order to build the enterprise agent, we have to ensure each and every validations, rules, and all the policies and how we need to implement this agent so that we can leverage it throughout the processes and the organizations for which we are building this agent. So there we have some key components to build the robust automation agent. So if we start from the guardrails, right? So building an agent is an easy task. Like we can build the agent for POCs for your use, but for building the agent for enterprise, so we need to guardrails the agent means like we need to monitor the agent, validate the values what the agent is producing, right? So here we have some points, built-in safety check for agent tools, trigger actions like logs, block, filter, and escalate, ensure compliant execution path, examples like blocks tool if PII is detected, or escalate if approval is greater than 10,000. These just are small examples, right? So we need to guardrail the agent we are building for the organizations so that we can produce the result we are expecting, and we need to avoid any inaccurate or any inappropriate data, right? There we have another components that is called effective prompt writing. For every LLMs, every AIML models, we know like when we write the effective prompts, we can get the effective answer, right? So writing the effective prompt for any of the LLM models, same way for the UiPath agents, right? It is required to write the proficient prompts in order to get the appropriate answer. So there we have some points here as well, right? Clear structured prompts guide agent effectively. Use few short chain of thoughts or JSON and formatted prompts. Define formats, tones, and expectations. Here we have some pro tips like always start with the outcomes in mind, right? So when you are building the agent, you are expecting this out. So in order to get the answer, you need to put the question first in a way like where you are expecting the answer. So we need to write the effective prompts in order to get the exact answer. Then we have escalations, like in case of any human interventions needed, like any sensitive data, any high risk of decision, which agent is not able to take, right? So in that case, we can add human in the loop with the help of UiPath action apps. I will show you when I move to the demos. So we can add the human in the loops in order to take any decision from the human during the execution of agent, right? Triggered by guardrails or agent uncertainty. Example like escalate HR issues or legal risk to managers, right? Adds reliability and auditability, right? So these are some escalation we can add. When we build the agent, I will show you how you can add the escalations. Like I said, this is the first session of this series. We are trying to cover very basic things. In the next series, we will try to build very robust, and we can also try to show you like how you can integrate your agent with different components of the UI path, right? Then we have context grounding. In order to build any agent, you can use the agent memory, or you can bring your own data or your own company policies or own standards, right? So we need to build some context grounding, which is also called the RAG, retrieval augmented generation. I will show you in the next slide. So how you can build the RAG and what are the UiPath offerings in order to use or build the context grounding to take the decision. Like if you want any answer which should be relevant to your company procedure or company standards, so agent can go to the context grounding and check all the available options, then can come back to the user's queries, right? So we can build the context grounding. Here we have some points. Feeds agent with business specific knowledge. Like I said, we can build the knowledge base. We are building the agent for the enterprise, so we can build the knowledge base first. Then we can train the agent on this knowledge base so that we can get the answer based on the available data in the knowledge base. So we have this storage bucket, that is the UiPath product. There we can store all this data for stable mapping, SOPs, and templates. And then we have another options called connector. So we have some pre-built connector in the UiPath integration services. There we can leverage it. It can be SharePoint and Confluence, right? And why it is matter? Enable accurate reasoning, right? The last things in this component of the key component of this agent builder, that is testing and evaluations. We all said like we have the guardrails, we have the effective prompt, we already have written the prompts to generate the agent. Then we also have added the escalation, context grounding. The next part, all these are set. How we can test it? The testing and evaluation also very important part of this agent builder. Like evaluate the agent behavior using a real or simulated data. Use LLM based extract exact match or JSON similarity or evaluator. 30 plus meaningful evaluation equal to healthy agent means. And there we have some pro tips. Focus on edge cases and realistic flow. So in the next slide, I will try to cover uh, what exactly the guardrail is, right? So why guardrails matter? It will prevent unpredictable tools behavior at the runtime, block action that violate policies or logic, triggers smart escalation only when truly needed, enforce enterprise grade compliance and trust. How guardrail work? So there we have some switches here. If, then, build per tools and rules plus actions. If certain conditions are met, then take a predefined action before or after the tools runs. Build per tool, you can add multiple guardrails per agent's tools, rules plus actions, define when and how your agent reacts. There we have some actions on the left side. You can see the logs, filter, blocks, and escalates. Logs means create a logs with severity info like info, one, and error. Filter hide sensitive fields from input and output. Blocks means like stop tool execution completely with reasons. Escalate trigger human review. You already have seen we can add the human intervention with the help of action apps through escalations app or the action apps. So here we have pre-execution guardrail and post-execution guardrail. Implement checks to validate inputs and environment condition before agent executions. Means like when we are running the agent, it will check like all the inputs and environments are it meets the conditions or not. Then we have the post execution means like agent executed based on the input we have provided, so it will generate some outputs. We need to also check like the output is coming in the format we are expecting or not. So you have seen couple of components, the key components in order to build the agent, the guardrails. There we have the context grounding. Context routing, we already have talked about. So there we can maintain all the company policies and data so that agent can leverage it before responding to the users, right? So where we can store these data. So like I said, we have two different options. Either we can store on the UiPath storage bucket, and this bucket is also offer the same like Amazon and different platform is offering. There you can store your file in any formats, right? And you can train your agent on these files with the help of creating context grounding, or you can also say the indexes. UiPath renamed it indexes. And excuse me. So with the help of this connector, you can create a context grounding to get the real-time data. And here we have some context grounding. Why it is matter? Here you can see the points here. Grounding helps agent make smart context aware decision, right? Both connector and storage bucket, like I said, both options are there. You can choose, depends upon your requirement. Data access method impact performance, reliability, and scalability. They differ in functionality, flexibility, and best use cases. Choosing the right method ensure efficiency and reduced maintenance effort. So these are required in order to build the context grounding to get the data or feed the agents to take the decisions, right? So here we have like key benefits. You can see accuracy instead of generic purpose. Like the agent is responding, and agent can also use their own intelligence. What we build for, right? So instead of generic responses, your agent provide answer based on your local actual policies and procedure. This is all can be happen through the context grounding, where we are putting the some SOPs and standard document of the organizations. The other is relevance means like agent can access up to date company specific information rather than outdated general knowledge, right? If you don't provide the context grounding, so what agent can do? Agent have their own memories and own knowledge, right? So it will try to answer the questions, but it is not relevant to your organizations, and then you have to build the context grounding in order to get the appropriate answer, right? Then reliability, reduce hallucinations when AI makes up information by grounding responses is verified data source, right? Compliance, ensure responses align with your organization standard, like I said, and regulatory requirements. So you have seen like effective prompting. Here are some examples how you can write your effective prompts. If you can see the right side there, we have some key points like goals. You can define your goals. You are building the agent. You should define the roles of this agent. Then tools. What are the tools you have built so that these tools your agent can use throughout the information gathering or the producing the results, right? Then response, how you are looking for the response. You can see all these example at the right side as well. If you talk about the goal, so here are some example. Analyze the sentiment of the following customer feedback and categorize it. And then we are closing the goals parameter here. The next time you can see tools. Use the sentiment analyzer, right? So we have built multiple tools, and you can also call the in the UiPath terms, you can also call the agent or the processes or the integration services. So we have built the tools, and you can also instruct the agent. You have to use these tools for these informations. Then we have the response. Provide a sentiment, positive, negative, neutral, and a brief justifications. So you are instructing the agent. You have to respond in that format, right? How the response will look like. What are the things we need to cover and what we don't need to cover, right? Positive, negative, and neutrals. Then we have the final, that is input, customer feedback text. How you are looking for the inputs. You can instruct the agent. You can ask the customer, or you can ask the users to provide the input in a proper structured way so that agent can answer, analyze the queries, and then can answer based on the available tools and the context grounding. So in this table, you can see the prompt type, best use for it, agent use case example. If we talk about the zero shot simple classification, tagging request as IT or HR. Few short means pattern based task, summarization, replying format. Then we have the chain of thought. It's like multi-step reasoning, leak policy validation. When we are talking with the agent, we have a conversation. When we put some input, agent can respond. Then we again response on the agent response. Then agent can analyze the response and try to check their context and available resources. Then response back again. And a couple of prompts type you can also see: React, self-reflection, structured, output, and instructions. Then we comes to the escalations. You have seen already talk about the action apps or the escalations app. So in case of any escalations, we can build the app. And if we want the human interventions, right? If agent cannot take the decision by their own, so we can include the human to take these decisions. And you can see some information here when we can add these escalation. Sensitive matters. If agent cannot take this decision, get the right level of reviews. Complex edge cases are not mishandled. Your agent does not overlap its role, right? So escalation, the agent built in SOS button, right? Imagine your employee support agents receive one of these queries, right? Can you help terminate an employee due to misconduct? And there we have a few more examples you can see here. And what are the key takeaways in order to build the escalation? Smart agent know what they don't know. Escalation, not failure. They are built in safeguard for enterprise, create trust and control. So what are the best practices in order, because every agent is not required the escalations, right? We are building some agents to crawl through the website, collect some information from the available data. So there we are not required any escalations app, right? So it is not mandatory to build the escalation for each and every agent. So here we have some best practices you can see here. Before creating an escalations, ask what situations really require human interventions, right? Not every agent decision needs a manual check. Reserve escalation for moments where user intent is unclear, right? Data is missing or business risk is high. This keep the human in the loop experience efficient and meaningful, right? Like I said, every agent is not, it is the escalations. That is the last part of these slides, that is testing and evaluation strategy. So like I said, when if you are familiar with the UiPath background, so when we are building the any of the models in AI centers, right? It can be document understanding model, it can be image classification model. There you have seen testing and evaluation data sets. Same way in agent building, so we are required to test the agent with few evaluation data or evaluation strategy we can build. So what is an evaluation? Think of it as a test cases, right? There we are required input, then we are required expected output, a rules which can evaluate. The result can be pass and fail with the scoring, right? And you also have seen the scoring, like how we have trained and evaluate the ML model and what are the score of, or we can see the confidence score of the model. Same way, we can evaluate the agent. Like we have built this agent for build the agent for HR policies or HR interactions, right? So we can evaluate just passing few words, few contents like employee, and to test like whether we are getting the appropriate answer on it, right? So we can test and evaluate the agent. So there we have some types of evaluator. You can see LLM as a judge, exact match, JSON similarity. So you can see all these options are there, and there we have some pro tips here. Use a simulator early in the development to catch logic flaws without hitting live system. These save cost, avoid API throttling, and support rapid iterations. If you are using the community edition, you can do and check your agents, right? So okay, so let's move to the UiPath orchestrator. There I will walk you through how you can build your first low code no code agent with the help of UiPath. Okay. So I'm assuming like you all have the UiPath access. If you are the organization or if you are the community user, you both have this access. You can build the low code no code agent with the help of UiPath orchestrator. So first thing, if you are familiar with this landing page, that is okay. If you don't, so you need to sign up first. Then once you sign up, you will land it on this page, right? So once you are on this page or home page, you need to click on this cubic icon, and there you will find the UiPath Studio. Okay, if you are not aware about the UiPath Studio, it's a cloud version of Studio. There you can build apps, you can build your Studio solution, same way you are building using the UiPath client. And you can also build the agent, and you can also build the agentic orchestration process. We have many more things here. You can go, you can sign up, you can log into this, do some hands-on around it, right? So once you are there on this page in UiPath Studio, there you can see we have the template options. Either you can choose any of the template to build any studio processes or any process, agentic process. And if you want to build it from scratch, there you can come under this create new options. There you can see a couple of options here. As I'm using the staging environment, so there might be a couple of more option in my environment, but you can see few more options in your community or enterprise environment. Agentic process, agents, RPA workflow, API workflow, that is in preview mode. UiPath apps, case management, it is in the preview mode. So we are talking about the agent. So you need to click on this agent. Excuse me. When you create a new agent, so this screen will pop up, right? So either you can choose any three options, right? You can build autonomous agent, which I'm going to build is now. Conversational agent, kind of chatbot you want to build. Then we have the coded agent. You can see import a coded agent project, build in your ID into Studio, right? So any of the coded agent you have built using the VS Code or any of the editors using the UiPath SDK, UiPath Python SDK, right? You can import those solution into this environment. So like I said, I'm just going to use the autonomous agent, start fresh. So once you hit start fresh, you will see a couple of options here. In journal, you can see the system prompt. You need to pass the system prompt. Then we have the user prompt. Tools, like I said, we can add one agent can call another agents, and one agent call the process and also call the integration services. And then you can see the context grounding, what I was talking about earlier. Then we have the escalations, right? So these are the available options. So you have seen effective prompt writing, right? If you are not proficient in writing the prompts, so you no need to worry. Either you can use any of the available LLM model. It can be ChatGPT, it can be Gemini model, and UiPath. The good thing is UiPath itself having the autopilot to build your prompt, right? So today we will build one agent which is the HR agent. Once any employees interact with this agent, ask any queries, it will go to the context grounding first to check all the available informations, then respond back with the available options. And we can also add the tools which can extract the information, the available information on the web or any internet sources, collect all this information, then bring it to the users who is asking the questions. So first thing, let me navigate through this entire studio component so that you are familiar with, because I'm using the staging environment, so I can see there we can change the view of this canvas, right? So we are building the low code no code agent with this canvas. So we have these two different options. So by default it is forms. If you want to change in a flow preview, right? Once I hit this flow, you can see the design has changed here. It's like earlier, uh, it's look like this. So there we have some form based input controls here. And if I click on flow, it will convert into the flow. So starting from the automation, autonomous agent here, it is connected with the GPT models. We can change this model, and there we can add context grounding tools, right? And escalations. So let me switch back, because most of the content is available on this l- this classic canvas look, right? So you feel free to change anytime if you are building your first agent. So here you can see system prompt. By default it is you are an agentic assistant, and the user prompt is what is the current date, right? We can test this agent with this prompt as well, but we are going to build the agent for HR assistant, right? And on the left hand side, you will see it is comes under the solutions. You can change the solution name anytime. And you can also change the agent name. Okay. So this is all set. And like I said, you can change the model anytime. So there we have all the available models within the UiPath ecosystem. You can use Anthropic, these available versions, right? GPT's version, right? All these GPT version, and these are in preview. These are available to use. So I'm just using the default one. And here you can add the guardrail. We were talking about the guardrail. So in the next session, I will try to cover each things in detail when we build the agentic orchestration process. There I will walk you through how you can use this guardrail. And today's we will try to cover to build the agent with tools and context grounding, right? So I was talking about the UiPath, one of the cool feature of UiPath in order to build the agent. And if you are not proficient in writing the effective prompts, you can just write few liners prompt, which I have written for you in order to save this time. So you are an agentic assistant. If any employee asks you about the company, you should provide a response. Use the web search tool to gather additional detail available on the internet. And I will add it here and also use the context grounding. Okay, so we can build the context grounding. If you not familiar with how you can build the context grounding, so first let me open the orchestrator, And here I have created one file which I have generated with the help of ChatGPT in order to showcase and complete this demo today. So I have built a sample file to use as a context grounding, right? And use a company policy which we are going to place into the UiPath storage bucket, and we are going to use as a RAG in order to get the information. Agent can get these information through this context grounding first, then it will navigate through the available navigate through the web search and extract the information and present it to the user. So these are some information I put into the Excel file. You can see. And the same file I have added here into this storage bucket. If I comes to this UiPath community demo, you can see GPT Pro's company details, right? So once you create the file, upload into the bucket, the next things you have to come here in this indexes, which is also part of the context grounding. As I already have created the company details, if you are new, you can click on this add index. You need to provide the index name or the context grounding name, some description here, and ingestion type, right? Basic or advanced. Okay, and here you can choose the data source. It can be storage bucket or the connector. In my case, I'm just going to use the storage bucket. You can choose the folder where you have created this storage bucket. I have created in shared folder, and you can choose your storage bucket name from here, UiPath community demo. Once you are done, and you can click on save. Once you are done, your context grounding will take hardly, depends upon the data you have uploaded. So it will take some time, and the status will be in progress once you doing first time. And once it is ingested, it will be successful. Means like context ground is ready in order to retrieve the information through the agent. So I think we are done. The details is available, and the details what we are going to use is we have put into the Excel file. And the next things, we can add this index or context grounding which I have created. So you can see the same context grounding name or index name here, company details. Let me add this here. You can see it is added. The next thing, I need to add the tools. So these are some available tools. You can choose it from here. So I'm just going to use the web search, and you can change the name from here. Okay. And you can also use the guardrails. So web search underscore com. So these two details we already have provided. Now it's time to improve the prompt, because writing this prompt is not produce the result what I'm expecting to get, right, when I'm asking the any questions or queries to this agent. So we have these beautiful options here. So if you want to improve this prompt, you can just click on this help improve my agent. So you can see here, tell us what you want to improve below, or get some general suggestion based on your agent. Maybe if you want to talk to with your agent what you already have built, you can just pass your prompt, like I just want more details about this agent, who built this agent, and what are the role and responsibility of this agent. We can also talk in like this way, but today I'm just going to improve this prompt. So I just click on this help improve my agent. As soon as I hit this button, you will see it will analyze my prompt, and based on the available knowledge with this autopilot, it will recommend some prompts, sample prompts. So you can see here, thank you for asking me to help improve your agent. Agent means like we haven't built this agent, just going to build this agent with the help of this prompts. So it will help me to build this agent by providing some sample. You can see the argument schema. It is adding this query. We don't need to go and add this input schema. Just click on this review. It will automatically add it. Accept. System prompt. You will see. So what I have written, you can see here. And when I hit this review suggestions, you will see it is going to replace this prompt with this effective prompts and the details prompt and the roles and responsibility of this agent. So you will see my prompts like you are an agentic assistant. If any employee asks about the company, you should provide a response. Use the web search tool to gather additional detail available on the internet and also use the context grounding. And is going to be replaced with the help of this autopilot. And the new prompt is you are an AI assistant for a company designed to answer employee questions and provide information about the company. Your primary goal are you can change anytime these rules. If you want to add on, you want to remove this and put your own rules here. And there we have some guidelines to use these tools, right? And you can read all these prompts here. When I hit, it will remove the previous one and added the new one, right? So system prompt is ready to create this agent. The next is the user prompt. So no need to worry about it. It's also have created the user prompt for us. Once I hit this review suggestions, you can see here, this one liner is going to be replaced with multi lines, right? What is the current date? It is going to be replaced. Process the following user query which we are going to use as an argument, right? The user language is language. If you want, you can keep this, and if you don't, you can remove it anytime. Please provide a helpful and accurate response based on the available company information. And if necessary, web search result ensure your response is appropriate for the user language. If you need to use the web search tool, please do so before formulating your final response. Your response should be informative, concise, and directly address the user's query, right? So let me use this prompt, accept. You can see it is green. In your case, maybe it's red. It means you need to come here under this close data manager. You can create, if it is already created and it is green color, that is fine. If it is in red color, you can just copy this query, come here and edit it. So there we have two queries, two inputs, right? One is query, okay, and another is language, okay. And here we have two outputs, right? One is content, the original content which we are looking for, and the source of content. Either it is from the web, it is from the context grounding. Okay, these all are set. Now we can test this agent, right? So in order to test, just click on this debug. In the next session, I will cover the deployment, how you can deploy this agent, how you can use this agent into the agentic orchestration. So you will see two queries, means two arguments we have created. So query your questions, what you are looking for, and in which language you are looking for these questions. So if you want to, if you have your question, you can put it here. If you want to generate some samples data, just click on this generate. Autopilot will automatically create some questions for you. Query, what are our company policies regarding remote work? And language, it is EN, that is English. So let me save and debug. So you can see the agent is running, just calling the tools, company details. Post execution governance, calling the LLM model. You can see which model it is using to produce the output, right? Okay, so it is done, right? Here you can see the questions or query, and you can see the answer. So the content is our company's remote work policy allow employee to work remotely up to 3 days per week, subject to manager approval. If you need further details or clarification, feel free to reach out to HR at this point. So in that case, what we can do, we can add the escalations, right? And in this escalation, we can create a action app so that when agent cannot take a decision by own, so we can send this to the HR group or any of the concerned departments, they can take the actions, and based on this action, the agent can respond on it. And you can see the source here. So we have created the two variables, that is the content and source. Content, which is coming from the company knowledge base. The company knowledge base is nothing. We have created this input file, that is Excel file. So same content we can try to search here. If I search company remote work, you can see up to 3 days per week, manager approval. The same result which is coming here. Up to 3 days per week, manager approval. And the source is correct, right? It is leveraging the knowledge base of the context grounding we have created, right? And you can see the prompt, right? So what prompt we are passing. So all the execution we can come here to see like how it is executing, which model it is leveraging, right? And what are the structure, how it is progressing, right? Tools, post executions, agent outputs, right? So this is all set for today's sessions. So we have a very informative session in sections 2. There we are going to cover agentic orchestration and this agent in details, all the guardrails or the escalations apps, context grounding in details. So we are going to cover in the next sessions that is going to be happening 15th of October. So now I'm going to open for any questions.
Thanks, Faz. I think on the chat, there are a few questions which I have replied already. So hopefully people have answered to, but I think feel free to ask any question if you have.
Hey, so thanks for this session. My question is about policies not in a common place as they live in a platform, a third-party platform. So how do you do the indexing for those kind of scenarios?
Yeah. So in that case, I have shown you like there we have the storage bucket, and the another options is called connections, or you can build your integration services, right? So you can store your company policies in the third-party apps, and you can call these data through the integration services or the connections.
Yeah, this is more of a kind of a the demo was to general information that these are the options there. But I think when you implement for your enterprise, I mean, definitely it's ensuring that your data is safe within your network, and then probably it is accessible, it is not duplicated and all, right? So all of that can be taken care, but there's a multiple way to access that information. So that way it is always greatest and latest to the update which you have.
So are you saying if I use integration service, I can use that to index the documents? Because that's
Yeah. So in the
the end goal, right? We have to have documents indexed for the agent to be able to use it. So if I have an
yeah.
integration service connected to my third-party app, which is referencing the policies, so can index access the policies through the API? That's, I think, my next question is.
Yeah, so you have seen we have created this index with the help of bucket, and the another option is called the connections, right? When you go to the connections, there we have few more options to build this, and you can bring your own data through the integrations services. And if you want to cover in details, so I will cover in the next sessions in detail how you can leverage it to in order to connect with your third-party applications.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I have a no, I'm sorry. I have a couple of questions. One's regarding also this part of the indexing. Wait, yeah, in part of the indexing, right? So can indexing schedules be created in this low-code environment?
Yeah. So when we are creating the index, you can go and check the recording. So there we have one toggles. You can create the schedulings so that it will automatically refresh your data when you upload the new one here. Means you will no need to go and refresh your data. So once you upload the new data, it will automatically refresh.
All right, perfect. And I had another one regarding the for after the data indexing, well, before the indexing of the data, for the tokenizing process. Is there a separator that's used by default? And I mean, I believe there is, but can it be configured?
Can you explain a bit more? Like reconfigure means like you have seen one example where we have created the Excel file. In your scenario, what is?
No, I'm just saying, like for the chunk for the chunking process, let's say. Can you? Is there a way to customize if you need to, if you want the separator to be, a paragraph or a sentence, that type of thing?
I think that will be taken care by the agent. So you need to write the prompt in a way like how you are looking for the response. Like you have seen, like we have added two tools, right? One is the context grounding, and another is the web search. But the question what I have asked, it is coming from the context grounding. Same way, you can write the prompts like how you are looking for the data rights, in order to segregate or chunks these data in a different formats, right? Hope that answered these questions.
All right. Yeah, I believe that's it for now. Thank you.
Any other questions from anybody?
But if you have any follow-up questions when you're watching this video again, you feel free to reach out to any of us, right, on my LinkedIn, or we have another sessions planned, right? So you can come with your question for these sessions. We will try to answer your questions if you don't have any further questions in this session.
Anybody else? Okay, well, we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thank you so much, Faz, Amit, and Pankaj, for delivering this message today. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Thank you very
everybody.
much.
Thank you.